Do you identify as a career assistant? Is being an assistant your soulmate career? Or do you do it because you're good at it? It's what you know, or you don't know what else you could possibly do. What if it's not love of the job, but an unacknowledged fear that's keeping you from progressing in your career? That's what today's episode is about. I'm going to explore 10 fears that might be keeping you stuck in your admin role. Welcome to the channel, episode number 2 of Admin No More TV. My name is Tanya Finks, and I help high-performing rockstar admins like you create a career transition out of a support role without spinning your wheels or wasting time or energy. Today, we'll explore 10 fears that might be keeping you stuck in your admin role. If you find this content useful, then give it a thumbs up. And if you know others who would benefit from this content, please do share it. So first fear of the unknown. I can't tell you how many admins I've worked with over the years who, in our development discussions, described themselves as content in a career admin. But when another admin transitioned to a new role, they were the first to ask, "How'd you do it?" Sometimes you don't really know what the fear is. There's just a sense that it's not safe to make a move. That could be a simple fear of the unknown. One constant with career progression is that it requires that you get outside your comfort zone. Only comfortable things happen inside your comfort zone. To grow, to expand, to experience something new and different, you've got to step outside that safe bubble. Next fear of financial instability, loss of job security. Strong admins are often safe during times of economic downturn. That's not always the case, but often the strongest amongst them do survive. When considering a career transition, fear of being in a role that's on the chopping block can be something that holds you back. It's a valid concern, but I encourage you to think about it in a different way. First, job security is an illusion, period. Getting that non-support role on your resume sets you up for different opportunities. So my advice is, if you want something different, don't stay tethered to the role because you think it's secure. Progress requires risk. If you can, bet on you and trust the process. Fear of limited opportunities. One of the biggest challenges when transitioning out of the admin role is figuring out where your skills fit in your organization. And so it can feel more comfortable to stay where you are than to struggle out of the cocoon and see where you fit. If you approach it in the right way, you can take into account your experience, your interests, and your skills, and land in the exact right place to build new skills with passion and energy. If you'd like help evaluating whether you're in your soulmate role or you're staying longer than you should because of some unresolved fear or concern, I've put together the Career Clarity Assistant Career Assessment. It contains a number of questions to help you think about and assess your true desires, drives, and motivations. They're designed to help you reflect and take notice, but don't think too long. It's best if you answer quickly and truthfully. Once you submit your answers, you'll receive some content about where you are and what you might do next to support your ongoing development. Just go to adminnomore.com/2 to gain access to the assessment tool. Fear of losing job satisfaction. Next, you're great at what you do and you love helping others be great. What if you transition out of the role and you don't love it as much? That's why, if you're considering a career move, you should be thoughtful. Learn about what really speaks to you. Listen to what you respond to and ask yourself why you respond to it. If you don't make a rash move, you should have every expectation that you'll find satisfaction in your new role. It's important to recognize that you'll face challenges in your new role. Don't mistake challenge and a need to grow for dissatisfaction. The job will be harder initially. In fact, almost everything may feel foreign to you. But you're awesome. And if you give yourself time, you'll master your new role the same way you mastered your admin role. Next fear of loss of work-life balance. There's a perception that stepping out of the admin role means new expectations and longer hours. And full transparency, When you get to manager or beyond, it can be harder to set boundaries, but that's not always the case. But you're not likely going directly from an admin role to a leadership role. It happens, but it's not the typical path. So you have time to make those choices. You shouldn't let them deter you. Next, fear of burning bridges or disappointing someone. One of the hardest and most interesting factors is a loyalty to the managers you support. I can't tell you how many admins I talked to with a clear desire to do something different and lots of talent to work with who were conflicted because of their loyalty to their managers. Now, it's entirely possible that this loyalty disguises one of the other fears. Maybe you're really afraid of stepping out into the unknown, but it's easier to say that you don't want to leave your managers. When I was making the transition, I loved the managers I was working with. I had so much respect for them, and I enjoyed my job. But I knew I wanted to make a different contribution, and I couldn't pretend I couldn't be replaced. And I couldn't avoid having the hard conversation about wanting something different for myself. And it all worked out. Those managers still have a very fond place in my heart, and they remember me fondly. Next fear of being visible. Fear of being out front is one of the hardest challenges to overcome. Being visible is scary, especially if you're thinking you'll need to carry the same level of responsibility as the people you currently support. I'm an introvert. I was never looking to be visible. I was looking to make a contribution. I was looking to make a difference. And as I advise other admins looking to make a career transition, I tell them the same thing. Focus on what you want to accomplish. Focus on the difference you want to make in the world or in your organization. The rest will take care of itself. Next fear of failure. The most common fear is the fear that you won't succeed. What I'll say about that is if you're at the top of your game in the admin role, then you're likely smart and diligent and hardworking. Trust that you have everything you need to learn to be successful, just like you did in your admin role. Next, fear of leaving the nest or standing on your own. As an admin, you have your go-to partners. You have your go-to advocates. You have your go-to confidants. It can feel really scary to feel like you're leaving all of that behind and stepping into something new. It can feel like you're standing on your own in a new way. It can feel like you've lost your support network. But here's the thing. You're not losing your network. You're adding to it. Next, fear of a loss of status. As a Rockstar admin, you might be the go-to person in your world. You're accustomed to being the go-to. You're used to knowing everything and knowing who to contact to get things done. Also, you might be accustomed to being in the know. If your managers are senior leaders and their status gives you access, you're accustomed to moving freely in your department or organization and having access to information. You're used to being able to get things done through people. You're respected and sought after. If you transition to a new role, you're becoming low man on the totem pole, and you're having to rediscover the landscape. And I'll tell you, the skills that you relied upon that helped you succeed as an admin may not be the skills people are counting on in your new role. It's a scary place to be. But you've got to remember that you didn't enter your first admin role knowing what you know. You'll build the knowledge you need. You'll build the network you need. You'll establish your reputation. I can say that with confidence because you've already done it. If these fears made you think about your own situation, then I would encourage you to take the Career Clarity Assistant Career Assessment to evaluate whether you're in the right role or it's time to spread your wings a little bit. Go to adminnomore.com/2 to get access to the assessment tool. The question I'd like to highlight this week, I recently met with an assistant who clearly has aspiration, but because of fears like the ones I've talked about today, she's trying to figure out how to make her admin role more satisfying. In her case, she's got well-developed project skills. She'd really thrive in a role that would allow her to develop those skills further. So my guidance to her was that she's in the wrong role. She can keep trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, or she can start taking the baby steps that will begin to move her toward the place she ultimately wants to be. It's similar to when I was in my admin role, and I kept trying to find ways to make my role more intellectually engaging. It wasn't what my managers were looking for from me. I was trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Sometimes you've got to take steps to move in a new direction. Sometimes that is the answer. You can no longer stay contained where you are. That's it for today. I hope you got so much value out of this episode. If you did, please like the episode and leave a comment below and let me know what you found valuable. And if this highlighted fears you might be dealing with, I'd love to hear about it. Comment below or reach out to me in email. I'd love to hear from you. If you know someone who would benefit from this content, please share the episode. And I hope to see you next week.